Gators with an early season piece of hardware on the line. The tip is won by Florida's Will Richard. We'll give it to Zion Pullen, one of 4 guards starting for the Gators. They will go small. They have elite guard depth, and they will start with the basketball here at Barclays Center. Look at this start. They almost had an alley-oop. Riley Kugel couldn't finish it from Clayton. Zion Pullen in the lane will, and give Kugel the assist.
Good job of Kugel staying with it. Zion Pullen playing only his 3rd game. The transfer from UC Riverside is one of the more underrated newcomers in America.
Here's the Bears starting 5. Jalen Bridges, the only returner from a year ago. Dennis and Nunn, excellent transfer guards. Walter and Nisi, superb freshmen, perhaps future NBA players. And Clayton, feeling A-OK right now. He has a rejection on Jaden Nunn's 3.
Good start for Florida. They have already played Virginia and Florida State. You see Clayton, young man who grew up in Lake Wales, spent 2 years with Rick Pitino, and has fit in like a glove in Gainesville.
His old coach, Rick Pitino, now at St. John's, was here to watch him the other night. But Walter Clayton Jr. decided not to follow him a little bit down in the city. He went back home to Florida, and he will let that ball go off the missed 3 by Dennis.
This is only at the very end of the last game, they played 4 guards. This is the first time this year they're starting 4 guards. And when you watch Florida play, you'll understand why. Very deep, and they're all complementary of each other.
They can all defend and score. Pullen, Clayton, Kugel, and Richard. The big man, Tyrese Samuel, was spectacular. 20 points and did everything else on Wednesday. And right here, Samuel has an offensive rebound and a bucket.
I like that he went right at the big shot blocker, Misi.
Offensively for Baylor, what do you look for?
Space to floor, use those guards, make sure you keep Jacoby Walter involved early.
Nunn, stripped by Samuel. Take away for Clayton. Numbers for the Gators. Clayton with a bobble. Kugel with a 3. It's good! 3 possessions and 3 scores for Florida. And Scott Drew takes a timeout. Not 2 minutes in. You're 21 at Baylor. His team took a few right and left hooks in the opener against an SEC team at Auburn, a team that was picked just ahead of Florida in the preseason poll. Long way to go to get back into this one. Ray J. Dennis's errant pass to Eve Misi's tracked down by Jacoby Walter. Swing to Bridges. A good 3-point shooter puts the Bears on the board.
That stems the tide a little bit. Good job by the transfer from West Virginia.
Here's Kugel, who was a superlative scorer down the stretch last year. He has been off the mark badly on 2 shots, hitting 1. And a foul against Samuel. We'll give it to Baylor.
Watch the ball movement now. Walter gets stuck in the corner, good swing, and Jalen Bridges fairly reliable from deep. He's become their glue guy, the toughness guy.
Dennis, transfer from Toledo, is stripped by Clayton. Into Samuel. Spinning around on the freshman, Misi. And a 5th-year Samuel steps in.
Misi's getting an early lesson. The freshman has been outstanding for much of this season.
6'10", 239 Samuel, is 7', 235 Misi. And this time, Misi wins the matchup. These are 2 NBA bodies going at it.
Yes, and he slips out of the screen quickly, which is the key to catching that lob. He gets disengaged right away.
Zion Pullen for Florida, one of the many transfers that has reshaped this roster in Todd Golden's 2nd year. Little bump by Dennis, and Pullen scores it.
He's going to end up being one of my favorite players in the country this year. He had 4 great years at UC Riverside in the Big West, and they cajoled him into coming to Gainesville because of great relationships. We'll tell you about that.
Florida 5 baskets on 6 possessions. Dennis, open man is Bridges, his 2nd 3.
Couple of good answers for the Bears.
8 for 17 now from deep for the 2nd-year Bear, Jalen Bridges, the only returning starter from last year's 23-win team. Samuel a long way out from the basket. He can face. He can score it from there. Samuel's 3 for 3.
Misi's getting an early lesson. This is fun.
This is some graduate level stuff for E. Misi against the grad student Samuel. And Bridges alone again nearly had a 3rd. Here's Poland on the run out for Florida. He'll slow it down. He'll feed Clayton, who misses a deep one. That's the second empty set for Florida in the first 4 minutes plus. Dennis, Misi, stuffed and fouled. Will Richard thought he had it cleanly.
21 years that Baylor would have just incredible success.
This is a stat that has been used a lot. It's always worth using. Baylor, 354 games all time as a ranked team. 352 in the Scott Drew era. 2 in the 2,197 games before he arrived in Waco.
May I add, in 97 years.
Yeah. There it is.
Right on cue.
If you didn't believe us, just read the screen. 2 for 97 in the national champions, of course, 3 years ago. Josh Ojanwana is in for Misi after he hit a couple of free throws. Baylor's hoping that Jonathan Chachua can give it a go today. He missed Wednesday's game with a sore knee, their third big. But the 2 young bigs were outstanding in his absence. Here's a young big, Alex Condon. Clayton, 5 to shoot. Poked away by Dennis, and then Dennis gets the lead feed, and Ray J. Dennis takes it to the 10.
Nicely done. Good pass ahead by Jaden Nunn. No hesitation. Both of these teams play very unselfishly.
Yeah, the MAC Player of the Year last year, taking it away from the MAC Player of the Year last year.
See Ray J with the poke. No hesitation by Nunn. 2 transfers, and to your point, the MAC and the Atlantic 10, now they're in the Big 12 and part of a ranked team. Baylor, one of those teams over the last 20 years who's used the portal extremely well.
Transfer from Toledo, VCU, and West Virginia in the starting 5. Dennis, that is a difficult shot. And there's grab by Florida's Riley Kugel, the sophomore. Kugel bursting it into Nunn. Little shove off, and Condon takes a hard fall with Ojanwana on the floor.
Kugel very lucky. There was a push off there. They didn't call it. And Ojanwana was just in the wrong place at the wrong time. This is automatically a foul. Obviously he didn't trip Condon on purpose, but easy call. Condon, a tough, hard-nosed kid. His father was a footy star, Australian rules football, and he has a future in footy if it's not going to be the NBA.
Poland on the bounce inside. Clayton will sneak his way to the line. Well, again, we're not expecting Micah Handlogged in to play, so Alex Condon getting the floor hard is a heart in your esophagus kind of moment for Todd Golden. There's Handlogged, who was an 8-point-per-game scorer, 10 rebounds, more than 2 blocks at Marshall last year. Was the Sun Belt Freshman of the Year. Hurt his right ankle in a collision with Bud Carrington on Wednesday. But Condon was terrific, had 11 and 6 in his absence. They had the 15-point win over Pitt.
He's already the property of Collingwood, you know, the Magpies.
I do know, of course.
The Boston Celtics of footy, and they have his rights for 5 years. And if he decides to ever go back and play Australian rules football, it'll likely be with the Collingwood.
With the Magpies.
Yeah, the Pies.
Throw some Magpie facts at us today at any time if you want. Evil birds.
Well, one of their best players is Mason Cox, who played at Oklahoma State.
Thomas Houck, the freshman, just Houck that Langston Love shot out of bounds.
You know, Todd Golden told us yesterday, Kevin, Houck was a top 125 player, Condon not ranked. And if you re-ranked everybody right now in college basketball, they would be top 50.
Outstanding freshman class, outstanding transfer class for Florida. Here's Walter, his first shot of the game. 6 minutes in, it is pure as ever. Part of the run out, Kugel lost it. Dennis has it. A Baylor takeaway. The Bears have not led in the game, and they still have it. Walter misses a 3. On the deck, Ojanwana rolling around looking for a timeout, and he is granted that timeout by Lamar Simpson. Baylor down 7-0 early, has scored 14 of the next 21. Here's Bridges. Into the body, the freshman Houck, who holds up well. Dennis couldn't get a screen from Ojanwana. He'll try to take it himself, drop it off the hand of Condon. And 2 seconds to shoot for Baylor.
Need a catch and shoot right here. This is again special teams. Do you have a catch and shoot? We call this low shot clock play. Let's take a look right now. Watch the inbounder. Watch the inbounder.
Dennis lobs it, wanted it back. Walter was fouled. Oh, he got bailed out. Walter fouled by Walter Clayton, and it will be a 2-shot foul.
Walter Clayton needs to be patient here because this was going to be a difficult shot one way or another, and just too much contact. You need to let the shooter land. And Clayton was a little too over-exuberant right there. He needs to know that's going to be a tough shot. Now, Kevin, we're watching one of the 2 or 3 best freshmen in America right now. I'm thinking Isaiah Collier at USC. They lost today to Oklahoma. This kid will be a front-runner for Freshman of the Year in the country.
He was a Big 12 Player of the Week to start his career. 28 in his debut against Auburn. And he's given Baylor its first lead. 8-1 Bears run. Pulling, probing. Walter bodies him up. Denzel Aberdeen's first minutes of the game. Aberdeen's long steps. And Walter clears the rebound. We saw how quickly Walter can go from not involved offensively to taking over a game on Wednesday. It was open, but Dennis found Love. He was open too. Options up top, and Langston Love with a Baylor 3.
He's become a very reliable shooter, Langston Love.
Clayton around the Houck screen. Too tough for Houck to handle.
Now this is that winning DNA. They got hit in the nose early. They've responded. Now it's Florida's turn to respond.
I love what Jalen Bridges said after Wednesday's game. He said, it was the standard of Baylor basketball. For the whole 40 minutes, we want it to be hard. We want our opponent to leave the gym feeling like they don't want to play Baylor again.
That's been part of their DNA for probably the last 15 seasons. Once Scott Drew got this program where he wanted it. Foul.
Florida now has 4 turnovers, no points in the last 4 minutes. It's an 11-1 Baylor run.
Kevin, you mentioned Jonathan Tchamwa. We didn't see him on Wednesday. They rested him because of his knee issues. Remember, this is one of the great comebacks that we've seen in recent years. A knee injury that could have been career-ending, but he's out on the court.
23 in green and gold. And Tchamwa looking to grab an offensive rebound. And his fight for the ball will keep it with Baylor.
He had a knee injury where everything in his knee was shredded. He came back 51 weeks later. He's not the same athlete he was, but his heart and leadership are a good fit for this young team.
Originally thought we had 2-year recovery. Walter bangs home another 3, his second of the game.
There's that beef again. Balance, elbows, eyes, follow through. Simple.
Now a 14-1 Baylor surge from down 7 to up 8 by the under 12. And look at the Baylor bench and listen to the Baylor bench on defense. Pulling, nowhere to go, and a foul is called against Nunn. When his Baylor team was down 7-0, since that timeout, they've outscored Florida 22-7 since the opening timeout. They've held Florida scoreless on now 5 of the last 7 trips as Poland hits one of the 2 free throws. Fred is back table side with us. Is that something that you saw many coaches do to that degree before Scott Drew?
No. It's a number of coaches that I know well do practice the timeout huddle. Because what happens, Kevin, in the pressure of the moment, a coach will say, who's in? Are you in? Are you in? Are you out? Are you in? How many fouls do you have? It's all by design. I always say this to young coaches. Make as many pressure decisions in the non-pressure time of the offseason. So during practice in the fall, they practice the timeout huddle so that when you get into a frenzied situation like the finals of the NIT tip-off, it's second nature to you. No different than football special teams.
Not phased from the early 7-0 deficit. They lead by 7 now. Baylor trying to get to 6-0 on the season. Here's a 3 for Love. Walter trying to get to it. He was being held by Pullen. Zion Pullen, his last name appropriate, as he yanks down Walter for the foul.
Transfer from UC Riverside, all Big West player. His coach, Mike Magpayo, a very close friend of Todd Golden. They work together. They're going to review this, but there's nothing to review here. Well, maybe they're not. No, they got it right.
Yeah, there was a review of a review.
Yeah.
Whether or not they might want to look at all the officials. Joe Lindsay, Lamar Simpson, Will Howard are deciding not to. And for that, we thank them.
Florida's got to respond right now because Baylor got up off the deck and they delivered their haymakers.
No field goals in the last 4:48 for Florida. Here's Love to the tin, his second basket. Langston Love was in a big score off the bench at 11 per game.
And that play was designed for Langston Love. They created a nice isolation right in the middle of the lane. And he's built like a linebacker.
Aberdeen down the lane into the body of Chama Chachua, who has it for Baylor. Jade Nunn, there's an offensive foul. Chama Chachua shuffling the feet on a moving screen.
Watch this, Kevin. Watch Love catch that ball at the elbow. You see it's a little lob up top, and now watch the room in the middle of the lane. Nobody's there to help. They create the ISO. And like mentioned, Langston Love built like he should be on the football field. He's what we call a power guard. Young man from right outside of San Antonio, Texas. Redshirted his first year with an ACL. He's now back healthy after 2 years.
Clayton trying to push tempo upon his re-entry. Walter Clayton's got a point. That's it in 8 minutes. Kugel to the 10.
Riley's had a slow start to the season based on the expectations, but frankly, he doesn't need to do as much this year as he did at the end of last season.
First field goal in about 5.5 minutes for Florida. Kugel was a preseason first-team All-SEC pick. Love out of traffic, Walter. Oh, yeah!
I'm just telling you, if you got a better freshman in America, let me know. There aren't many.
10 points, 4 shot attempts. Clayton. Aberdeen. Nunn stayed down, and Nunn forces a travel.
Kevin, I keep saying this. The fewer moving parts on your shot, the better you are. Watch how compact that stroke is. Catch at the chest, right up. He doesn't dip it. He doesn't waste time. And he's got that beautiful, what we call swan neck follow through at the top.
Already 5 turnovers committed by Florida. They committed just 8 in the game against Pitt on Wednesday. BC back in the game along with Dennis. This is Nunn. Nunn. Condon clears it for the Gators. Clayton to pull up 3. Kugel's there for the offensive rebound. Florida, one of the best offensive rebounding teams in the country. Condon is looking for a back cut there. He and Clayton are in the same space. Condon's in an awkward position. Aberdeen has it with 6 to shoot. It's Condon. It's Condon again. And it's another one and done.
Good offense, just couldn't knock it down. The ball movement was solid.
Dennis, hard screen Misi. And Samuel's there to catch the lob. Condon and Misi both a little slow to get up. It's a 4-on-4 right now. Condon makes it a 5-on-4. And Aberdeen bricks a 3. Samuel outjumps everybody. Can Clayton cash in? No. Can Clayton cash in this time? Yes.
Good effort there by Walter Clayton, staying with it. All Florida's got to do is hang around for the next few minutes. Don't get blown out. They will get their mojo going.
Florida had got 1 for its last 9 before that Clayton layup.
And they're only down 8. Offensive foul.
That's Jacoby Walters first. Tuesday, the ACC SEC Challenge begins With games all over our family of networks, ESPN has 10th ranked Miami visiting number 16 Kentucky at 7:30 Eastern, and Clemson against number 17 Alabama at 9:30 Eastern. Those games on ESPN and streaming on the ESPN app. Where do you see this Florida team in the SEC, Fred?
You know, they're picked 8th. I think they're going to be better than that. They're a little banged up right now, but I think they're absolutely going to be better.
Kugel.
Yep. I don't think Arkansas is as good. I don't think Kentucky is as good as where they're ranked right now. Certainly have the talent. Auburn and Florida, to me, should be very, very good.
Dennis couldn't get the leaner. Here come the Gators trying to make this a one-possession game. Hout gets it from Clayton, and he draws a contact against Bridges. So free throws coming.
Auburn and Florida are under-evaluated right now. I don't see Auburn losing until they go into SEC play. I think they go to Arkansas to start their season. And this Florida team, Kevin, they've got a lot of depth. We're watching them battle back right now.
Couple of free throws there for the freshman Thomas Hout. The Gators are back within 3.
And when you talk about Kentucky, it's like sticking your hand in a Cracker Jack box. You just never know what you're going to get.
That's a nice analogy for the often used box of chocolates. Bridges, third 3 for him. Jalen Bridges is hot again.
Well, Jalen Bridges ended last season in the Big 12 tournament 7 of 8 from deep. Capable.
He shot it so well in this tournament. 6 for 11 from the field. 14 points against Oregon State. Here's a turnover. Hout throws it to Misi. Dennis, 4 assists already. Bridges. May have gotten away with a walk there. Nico Little. Misi. Clayton came to double. That left Bridges open. Maybe don't do that next time. That's 4 from 5 from deep for Jalen Bridges.
How about Misi? He waited for the double to come. Really patiently kicked it back out. And Jalen Bridges hit a tough contested shot.
Baylor is 7 for 12 from 3. Samuel leans in, contorts his body to get to the foul line.
Kevin, last year when Bridges transferred from West Virginia, he was basically 0 for November and December behind the arc. Picked it up in Big 12 play, and then obviously got red hot in the postseason. Young man from Fairmont, West Virginia, essentially a 4-year Big 12 starter. 2 at West Virginia, 2 at Baylor.
It was not a guarantee that Jalen Bridges would return to Baylor this year either. He thought about declaring for the draft, but he really thought long and hard about playing professionally in Australia at the NBL, the professional league there. Decided to come back to Baylor for 1 more year. And it's hard to imagine this team early on without his contribution.
Right, the only starter back from last year. And listen, NIL changes things. You know, he might be making as much as he would have in the NBL, quite honestly. Certainly more than in the G League. I think he made the right choice.
1 for 2 for Samuel. The lead is 8 for Baylor. 6:20 to play first half. The NIT season tip-off championship. Clayton could not stay in bounds there off the near takeaway.
I think Baylor and Gonzaga, going back 15 years, before there was a transfer portal, I don't think anybody handled a transfer route any better than Mark Few and Scott Drew. And now it's a given that if Scott Drew wants you at Baylor, he means you fit into the culture, which is how you get guys like Epe Udo, a lottery pick, and Makai Mason from Yale, Royce O'Neal from Denver, and this group right here. Remember Brady Heslop?
Ray J. Dennis, one of those transfers to Bridges, another. Langston Love, he has been terrific off the bench with 8.
This is the deepest Baylor team Scott Drew has had in a very long time. I believe it's the most talented team in the Big 12.
Samuel throws it away. 6 of the last 7 field goals for Baylor have come from 3. This is the Bears' largest lead.
I think the league is reloading this year. It's not as good as it's been. It'll still stay at the top, but Baylor has a lot of talent.
shooting at 42% from three into the game against Division I teams. 8 for 13 tonight. Dennis, Walter, hesitation, and he missed an open look. That's a rarity tonight. And then he fouls Pullen. That's 2 on Jacoby Walter.
He'll probably sit for the rest of the half if, in fact, Jaden Nunn gets him. Coaches will let Scott Drew know that Jacoby's got 2. And off he goes to the bench. But again, it doesn't matter with this group, very deep.
So Nunn replacing Walter with a 10-point first half. 1-1. Zion Pullen line drives it home.
So to finish that story, Kevin, Zion Pullen played for Mike Magpayo, terrific young coach at UC Riverside. Magpayo and Golden were assistants at Columbia and San Francisco. And when Zion put his name into the NBA draft, he also had the option of playing a 5th year, and he wanted to go to the biggest level, and he fits in at Florida because the styles of play are very similar because of the 2 coaches and their friendship.
Ty Golden saw him play a ton because he watches so many of Mike's games. What an addition he's been. Inside a throwdown. Oh, Jamina for Dennis. Clayton bullying his way in. Clayton missed it. Trying to get the rebound. He does not. He ended up knocking his defender Nunn to the ground, but Baylor maintains possession.
Watch Dennis head up. Ojanwuna sneaks inside. He caught Tyrese Samuel helping too much on that guard out top.
6 assists now for Dennis, who last season averaged 5.8 per game for Toledo, which was a top 5 offense in the country out of the Mid-American Conference. We've got the MAC Player of the Year and then the MAC MAAC Player of the Year in Clayton for Iona on the floor together. Here's Dennis again. And Dennis is called for an offensive foul for leading in.
Yeah, but I think he extended that, trying to figure it out. He's driving left, so he extended the right arm. Little chicken wing right there. I thought that was a good call. Take a look at his right arm right now. See that? That's a good call. He got away with the first one, and in the second one, he had to be called. That's a young man that scored 19 points in a little over 3 minutes when he played at Boise.
Pullen bangs it in right through Nunn.
Remember, he did not play in the loss to Virginia. This is only Zion Pullen's 3rd game.
Snapped about a 4-minute field goal-less drought for the Gators. Bears shooting at 54%. Langston Love. Samuel's there, wraps it inside, and Pullen is on the spot to deflect it for a Florida takeaway. The 8th Baylor turnover. Clayton looking for an outlet. Extra feed, Richard. That's a 3. Some energy for the Gators side as Florida's cut it back to 6. Wraparound feed, Love from Dennis. Love. Oh, Ojanwuna scores it. Thought he got hit in the arm, but gets the 2.
When you're knocking down those threes, the closeouts have to be hard, but that opens up the drive, and an easy one for Ojanwuna.
Baylor 5 for its last 6 for the field. Florida 5 for its last 6 for the field. Samuel goes left, and a timeout taken with 2:51 to go.
Again, I've been around the Big 12 in the fall, and I saw most of the teams, and I thought Baylor had 1 to 11, the most talent. Certainly Kansas has a great group led by Hunter Dickinson.
And what Dallin mentioned, they've assisted every made field goal so far. And if Jaden Nunn had hit that shot, it would have looked like real jinxers.
And I think these 4 Florida guards have moved the ball well, too. Perfect example.
How about Aberdeen, who buries a 3, his first points of the tournament. Sophomore from Orlando makes it a 3-point game.
Kevin, he's their 5th guard, but they're trying to get him minutes because he's really improved from his freshman year.
It's a 10-2 Gators surge. Nearly a takeaway there. Kugel slipped 5 on 4. And it's Walter back in the game with 2 fouls who misses the open look. So Scott Drew playing his standout freshman with 2 fouls to try to stem the Gator comeback.
Well, Todd Golden would do that.
Pull in. Lobs it in over Walter, who couldn't go up too strong with the foul trouble.
This is exactly the way Todd Golden wanted his team to respond.
Pulling perfect from the field. He has 11. The lead down to 1. Here's none.
You realize most basketball fans have no idea who Zion Pullen is?
They're going to find out soon. Walter, turbo to the rim, blocked by Condon, but a late whistle. And Lamar Simpson's got a foul on the end of it.
Well, fortunate here. Watch Jacoby go to the other side, an easy call. Condon fouls him, but watch Pullen right here. Zion Pullen, he's from the Oakland area. In fact, Todd Golden told us he remembered watching him when he was a young player in Oakland, when he was coaching up in San Francisco.
Out of Pleasant Hill, California, in the Bay Area. Walter at the line, just about perfect. Zion Pullen made an impact in his first game against Florida State, and everybody was good in that game for Florida, but his minutes were so crucial off the bench on Wednesday. Florida won that game by 15. They were plus 23 with Pullen on the floor. A rare miss by Walter there, but just to finish, Pullen 10 points, 8 assists, only 1 turnover in a win over Pitt on Wednesday. Aberdeen, yard free, and Nunn has the Baylor takeaway. Jaden Nunn on the run out. Condon rejects it. Was it on the way down? Baylor wants a goaltend. But there is no whistle, though.
And there's no review because they did not make a call of goaltending. New rule this year. But I don't think it was. I thought it was on the way up. Let's take a look right here. Close. Close. You know, in Aussie rules football, rugby is on the ground. Aussie rules football is up in the air, the kicks, the jump balls, and that's why he's so projected to be such a great prospect.
Said there's always footy after basketball for me. A steal for Kugel, lost it, right to Richard, whose 3 is way deep. We're under a minute in what's been a fabulous first half. Baylor leading by 2 in a game they've led by as many as 11.
2 for 1 right here. Got to get it up by 40 if you want to get 2 possessions.
Dennis threw it away. Here's Condon for Florida.
Really poor decisions, I think, by Baylor the last couple minutes.
Richard a 3. Well, hang on now. It's going to be a 2-pointer for the moment. Will Howard says it's a 2. We'll see if that's reviewed. But that jumper will tie the game at 41. It's called a 2 on the floor. $15 for Dennis on the clock. Gets around Pullen. Condon's there for the help. Condon another rejection. Shot clock at 1. It's a violation. How about the late clock defense by Alex Condon in Florida, which can take the lead into the half.
How about the young Aussie? Coming out of nowhere, they're very confident in these young big guys. Now, you got 4 seconds, which means you've got 4 dribbles. If you're Pullen, try to catch the ball on the way up the court. Dennis is going to try to cut him off. See how they're kind of shading him? There you go.
It's Pullen. Pullen, no, he left it short.
Is for sure. Florida's showing you why I felt that way.
Game track brought to you by Visit Myrtle Beach. 48% for Baylor, 8 threes, 52% for Florida. That number just went up. Riley Kugel with a basket, making a 16-3 Gator run, and Florida is back in front.
They took advantage of the freshman's inexperience. Walter got baited, and he got back cut.
Baylor led in the first half by Jalen Bridges, 12 points on 4 threes. Jacoby Walter with 11. For Florida, Zion Pullen and Tyrese Samuel, their leading scorers, 11 and 9 respectively. Walter missed it. Samuel's got it. Here is Pullen. Walter Clayton Jr. for Florida. Pulls up for 3. And it's rebounded by Walter. Reminder, no Micah Hanlockton, Florida starting center. Dressed but not available today with an ankle injury he suffered on Wednesday. There he is. So Florida's gone smaller without him. We've seen a number of 4-guard lineups, including the one to start the game in the half. They've been effective.
I sense that this was the middle of the SEC, late January, early February. We would see Han Lockton today, son of a former NBA player. But long season for the Gators. And one thing Todd Golden has that we knew coming in was depth.
Starters back on the floor. Dennis, Nunn, Walter, Bridges, Misi for Baylor. This is Jade Nunn yet to score. He'll feed Misi, who got Samuel to go flying by. Clayton. Samuel tried to take it at Misi this time. Another great half of basketball for Tyrese Samuel. Kugel penetrating. Kugel is whacked by Walter. That's a critical call. It's the third foul on Jacoby Walter.
Is he shooting it? No, I think they're going to put it on the side. I thought he was shooting it. Take a look now. I thought he was going up in the act of shooting. Officials disagree. So does I think Todd Golden agrees with me.
Walter's going to take a seat for Langston Love. How do you handle this if you're Scott Drew?
As far as him with Walter?
Yeah.
Oh, he just, he got baited on the first play of the second half. He's just telling him to settle down.
Would you keep him out for an extended period of time, or is he score dependent?
No. They have enough depth that they don't need him, but you also don't want to foul out your own player. You got to kind of teach him to play in these situations.
Baylor goes inside again. Misi with the first 2 baskets of the half. Richard was almost not paying attention. Love a near takeaway, and then Richard a near breakaway. He'll shoot 2.
One thing Misi's got to concentrate on is don't swing down and try to block the shot. It's not, you don't have a fly swatter. Make Richard shoot over your length and don't swing down and commit a silly foul.
Misi's second. And Will Richard, the Belmont transfer, terrific all-around player, will shoot 2. 82% free throw shooter hits the first.
Kevin, when Zion Pullen transferred to Gainesville, when he visited, his 2 hosts were the 2 returning guards. The guy at the line, Richard and Kugel. And I'm telling you, the 4 guards play so well together. The ball really moves. It doesn't stick.
Clayton, one of those 4 guards, has kept the possession alive with an offensive rebound. The smallest guy on the floor for Florida. He is denied. A run out for Nunn. Dennis. Love had a big first half. Takes it at Richard. Got caught up in the air, and Nunn was the available outlet. And Misi on Clayton for a moment there, but Nunn will draw the foul against Riley Kugel, his first.
Todd Golden's trying to go under the ball screens and make Dennis and Nunn shoot behind those screens, but Nunn is so good at going to the basket, he's not going to be baited into tough shots. Dennis doesn't shoot a lot of threes either. They're more to the rim guys, and that's why Florida going under those screens.
Baylor with 16 assists now on 16 makes. They have committed 11 turnovers, leading to 19 Florida points. Here's Nunn. In and out, nearly his first basket. Offensive rebound is snared by Bridges, who almost threw it away. Dennis collects, and Dennis drills it. Another Baylor 3, the Bears 9.
Todd Golden shaking his head right there. He was willing to give that 3 up, but that was a rhythm 3.
Credit Bridges with the assist, his 4th, 17 for 17. Samuel screens for Clayton. Baylor goes under, and Clayton cannot hit it. Samuel crashing the offensive glass. This could be Florida ball. Remember Walter Clayton Jr., we mentioned off the top, not feeling well, dealing with an illness, had to have an IV and some fluids over the last 24 hours. He is 1 for 8 from the field and 0 for 5 from 3.
He was brilliant on Wednesday night. 2 away from a career high, 28.
Got Love on it with a really good size. Now with a switch on Misi, the dribble was terminated. Misi will hang back against Samuel. Floats it out to Kugel. 3 to the left of the straightaway arc and a foul underneath. Misi's going to be called for a grab on Samuel. And that's Misi's 3rd foul, so he'll take a seat.
Samuel's in his 5th year of college basketball, and he looks like it. Misi, on the other hand, remember, he reclassified from the class of 24 into the class of 23 at a prolific prep. So he's getting a little physical lesson right now.
Todd Golden's going to take Clayton out of the game, looking a little bit weary. Aberdeen is on. Kugel. And Kugel follows his miss. Kugel just flying all over the place. Kugel still trying to collect the ball. It will belong to Florida. Riley Kugel with 3 bites at the apple. And the Gators will have it on a baseline inbound. I didn't catch everything Scott Drew said there, but I heard block out pretty loudly at the end.
Well, this team is a great offensive rebounding team, Florida, to start the season. 40% of their misses, which is very high. Good hands. Watch out.
Aberdeen faked it. Aberdeen into a whole lot of traffic. It's popped in. Gadzooks. How did that end up in the hole? Give the bucket to Samuel. It's down to a 2-point Baylor lead. Actually, Aberdeen will get credited with the hoop.
See, they're going under those screens.
Florida very physical right now with Baylor. Dennis over the body of Pullen, a floater.
Remember what we said on Wednesday? He's one of the best low paint shooters as a guard in the country.
Samuel charging hard, and Samuel right-handed on the left side. Draws a foul. O'John with a 2nd. Tyrese Samuel, perfect from the field once more, and at the line for 2 free throws. Speaking of NBA, the in-season tournament rolls on tonight here on ESPN. Another group play doubleheader. Jimmy Butler's Heat are 2-0. Just down the road, they'll face the Knicks at 7:45 Eastern. Then the Spurs and Warriors. Victor Wembanyama, Steph Curry and company at 10 Eastern. NBA countdown starts it all at 7:30 Eastern, ESPN and the ESPN app.
And the Spurs have another former Baylor Bear in their starting lineup, Jeremy Sohan, 2nd-year youngster out of Poland. Spent 1 year with Scott Drew.
I think Steve Kerr will get on the mic today and tell the Warriors fans not to boo any Spurs players.
Oh, man, don't get me started. They pay good money to boo, Pop. That's why they're pros.
Here's love from Dennis. That's a 3.
Oh, man. He is a secret weapon off the bench. He's a 3rd-year sophomore.
Pullen.
Nice.
They finally had an unassisted basket, Baylor. The last one from Dennis was their first unassisted of the game. And this time it's Dennis with the setup.
Yeah, watch this nice cross-court pass. Langston Love wide open. Kevin, I said it to start this game. This Florida team is going to be very, very good. And they're not home tonight. We don't know if Clayton's at his best. But I absolutely love the depth. They've got a good combination of experience and youth. And we thought they'd go toe-to-toe with number 13 in the country, and they have.
Here's Clayton, who's dealing with an illness. 1 for 8 3-points. Pullen has stepped up his limitations. Zion Pullen with 13, 4 for 5 shooting, 5 for 6 free throws. And by the way, no turnovers for Pullen in 20 minutes.
I'll tell you, Baylor is a great execution team.
Dennis, fouled by Pullen. That basket will count. Ray J. Dennis. You don't want to see this guy at the YMCA in 25 years.
And this is his game. He's made a 3, but he's one of the best low post scoring guards in college basketball. He's up right now about 90% inside the arc. It's just unbelievable how accurate he is.
5th-year starter, Boise State, Toledo. Scott Drew told us He fit in because he never tried to be the guy. Even as the point guard and the de facto leader of the offense, he has never tried to take an outsized role in this group. Conlon on the floor along with Aberdeen off the Florida bench. Conlon's open for three. Aberdeen finds him. Conlon didn't take it. Conlon getting stripped by Dennis. It's a takeaway. It's D'Antoine Grimes. And it's rejected. Actually, it's just grabbed by Kugel, really. It's less of a block than it is a snatch. It'll be Baylor ball.
Yeah, good job right here by Condon. Watch Grimes try to ward him off with the body. Oh, then it's Kugel coming in from the other side. It's kind of interesting. Grimes is the fifth guard. Aberdeen is the fifth guard. Both of these teams have tremendous guard depth.
If you're ranking teams by their best fifth guards, these two are probably in the top 10 or 15 in America. Off the Love miss, here comes Pullen. All the way, Condon takes the feed and stuffs it home. It's a three-point game.
Nobody stopped Pullen, and that's dangerous. He's a 6'4" point guard. These teams are identical.
Clayton is ready to return for Florida along with Howe. Haven't seen Jacoby Walter for about 4.5 minutes with the 3 fouls for Baylor. Dennis again. That floater is good.
I'm telling you.
How good is this kid?
He's a monster in the mid-range. He's unstoppable.
College basketball was made for players and made for stories like Ray J. Dennis.
And he's overcome an amazing handicap as a child as well.
Club foot on his right foot. That's poked away. Swatted by Richard out of bounds. Florida will take it. Here's what we're talking about with Ray J. Dennis, kid out of Plainfield, Illinois. Born with a club foot. You can see the cast in the stroller on the right leg.
All right, Kevin, you had a little Tykes basket, didn't you? Come on, admit it.
I didn't have that kind of form, but I certainly had it.
You were dunking on your little Tykes basket.
I think it was even too tall for me to dunk. I was vertically challenged. Yeah, Ray J. Dennis, born with a club foot, had to wear the cast, had to overcome it, go through some difficult medical procedures. He makes it to college basketball, plays for Boise State, transfers to Toledo, leads the Rockets some of their best seasons ever. Scott Drew said he is a true inspiration. And it's a Baylor team that has a couple of those, including Tchamwa Tchatchoua. .13 to play in a 5-point Baylor lead. Here's Love. Langston Love is fouled.
Now, Baylor, they've got Condon on Love, and so Love sees that he can go by the freshman. And again, he's built like a tight end. Watch him come right at Condon, and then the foul from the outside by the former football star at Bartow High School, Walter Clayton Jr.
Clayton's second foul leads to a Love make. 12 off the bench for Langston Love.
You know what's
Tyree
funny?
Samuel will return.
One of the schools that really recruited Langston Love when he was in high school, played at Montverde Academy, ready for this, Villanova. Does he not look like one of those Jay Wright guards?
Absolutely, a great comparison.
Like a Justin Moore. Of course, Villanova, Baylor, kind of same DNA.
And he's become a little bit of a forgotten piece, Love, because he had a torn ACL. He had some injuries last year. There's a strong drive by Kugel. He has played a very physical game today. 2 and a chance for 3.
Well, Love got confused on the matchup, and by the time he got to Kugel, take a look. He's late, so Kugel puts it right on the deck. And what's great about that play is young players, especially if you're in college now, go to the rim off 1 foot. It's nearly impossible to pick up a charge anymore. So if you got a chance to get to the rim off 1 foot, it's a quicker, easier way to get yourself some points.
The block charge rule has changed. This year you have to be in a legal guarding position by the time an offensive player lands with his plant foot, not with the offensive player in the air. And now we've seen, what, 1, 2 charges in the 4 games here, maybe?
And scoring is up. By the way, excellent explanation, right?
Thank you. I learned from the best.
Yep.
Dennis inside. It's Caleb Loner. Hauk is called for a foul. That's going to be the 5th against Florida. Teams are starting to rack up foul after foul here in the second half. Soon, both will be in the bonus.
Oh, illegal. Illegal. BC, too much contact.
That's going to be his 4th.
Well, it's a freshman mistake. It's the most common foul by young big guys in basketball is the moving screen. You see Misi right there. Just cannot do that, and it's an easy call.
He only had 1 foul in the first half, Red. He's picked up 3 quick ones, and with 12:33 to go, he'll take a seat.
Well, the good news for Baylor is they go 3-headed monster up front. And now Chama Chachua in the game.
Aberdeen from Hauk. Too deep. Nunn with a pull-up 3. Thought he was hit. It was blocked by Clayton, who was calling for the ball all the way down the court. Aberdeen didn't spot him.
I think Clayton got a piece of that. Clean.
Here is Clayton. He had it stripped. A takeaway for Baylor. This time it's Nunn taking it away from Clayton, and Caleb Loner can't convert. Hauk feeds it to Kugel. Gators on the run. One of the high-tempo teams in the SEC. Samuel finishes off the Kugel miss, and the lead's back to a bucket.
Hard to get back in transition when you go back, forth, back, forth, back, forth. And Scott Drew's going to go get some fresh bodies.
Jalen Bridges and Jacoby Walter, who have been sitting for a long time. Dennis. Loner around and out, and then Samuel hooked Chama Chachua. That's the 6th Florida foul. It will stay right here.
Walter a little bit of foul trouble, but it doesn't matter. There's a lot of firepower in both of those backcourts. ISO again.
Bridges on the floor, makes an impact, can't complete the shot. And here is Walter for the Gators. Kugel down the lane. Kugel floats it home, and we are tied.
That's where Riley is at his best. Open court. Tremendous agility for a 6'4" guard.
He had some big games down the stretch last year for a Florida team that plummeted to 16 and 17, fell to the NIT. This may be as good of a show as he's put on, given the level of competition and given the way that this Florida team has risen since last year.
Kevin, what impresses me about Riley Kugel, he finished the last 10 games last year averaging 17 a game. That team was 3-7, so someone had to score. But in his role now in his 3 and 4 guard offense, he is not forcing the issue. He's playing good D, he's murdering the open court, and he's a good ball mover, in addition to what we know he can do already, which is score the ball.
He's got 15 tonight, 8 rebounds, 2 assists, 1-1 here for Dennis. The foul was against Aberdeen, and that stops a 7-0 Florida run.
This is the 8th ranked team in the preseason poll in the SEC. Some of the teams that struggled above them, Arkansas for 1. We said coming into tonight, this is a top 25 team.
Ray-J Dennis has 13. Baylor back at front. Still a whole lot of basketball left to be played, which for the neutrals among us is a pretty tasty proposition. Samuel against Chama Chachua. Veteran big on veteran big. Samuel. Good defense, and it's Walter with the Baylor rebound.
Yeah, really good move by Tyrese. Chama Chachua, an experience.
Dennis again in the lane. It's up for grabs. It's down for Clayton. He has Pullen ahead of the pack for a moment. Now it's Clayton back from Pullen. Oh, he couldn't finish, but he was fouled.
That one play by Zion Pullen shows you why he's so important. On the pass ahead, he already knew before he touched the ball that his teammate was running. Take a look. Right away, he's going to get it up there and give Clayton a chance to get a couple freebies.
And it's another significant call because it's Jacoby Walter's 4th foul. So Walter, who had just checked into the game a minute and 5 seconds ago, will return to the bench with 4 fouls.
This is a really good learning experience for the freshman. He has played well offensively. He just has not been on the court that much.
So right now it's Walter and Misi, who were maybe the two best players in the game for Baylor on Wednesday. Both on the bench with 4, more than half of the second half to go. Florida without Handlogged due to an injury, 61-61 game. Love is back out there for Baylor. Chama Chachua, oh, look at this! The big man with a 3.
Not a surprise. When he spent the year rehabbing the knee, he spent a lot of time shooting the ball. But he came up big right there.
Hit 12 of them last season, shot it at 39%. Kugel's answer is not there. Chama Chachua flies in for the rebound.
How good is this that Misi's got 4, and Chama Chachua is like that veteran NBA big.
None. Back out Bridges halfway through the shot clock. Chama Chachua screen, they go under, and Bridges goes over.
That's the scouting report. They were going to go under those guards, and Bridges made them pay. That's by design defensively.
5 for 6 now from deep. Quick little 6-0 spurt for Baylor. Samuel back to the line.
Take a look right now. Here's Chama Chachua knocking it down. He added that to his arsenal. And then watch, Hauck goes under, and Bridges said, "You've been playing tonight? You know, I made a few of these." But again, you know, Todd Golden lives and dies by analytics. And he was willing to give that shot up.
Now, this Baylor team hasn't played a ton together, but those two players, Chama Chachua and Bridges, both who transferred in, both playing in their 101st career college games tonight. Experience matters for Scott Drew.
Yeah, no question. And both of these teams have that balance of experience and youth out there.
Tyrese Samuel 4 for 5 at the line. Had been just 47% coming into the game. He goes 1 for 2. It's grabbed by Hauck. So Florida gets a bonus possession.
Watch out.
Clayton looking for a shot. He got it. Only his second made tonight.
As much as he showed us his three-point shooting on Wednesday, last year at Iona, that's where he made his living, in the mid-range.
A 3-point Florida possession. Bridges again with space, and a rare miss this time.
Oh, they got Hauck on the guard. Didn't see him.
Yeah, they had him on Dennis. Richard leaves a 3 short. Hauck just got hit up near the jaw. And the officials do not call a foul despite the Florida bench's consternation.
And they were upset, too.
And that. Fran the Thesaurus for Schilla.
Little dribble weave right here. Watch Chama Chachua screen and roll out of there.
They got Pollard on him. Trying to stand his ground. Dennis steps back. Dennis hits another.
Wow!
Ray J. Dennis taking over this game.
How about the shot making both ways?
Pullen undeterred back the other way for 2. Man, oh man.
In a Florida, listen, I don't care about preseason polls. If you got a set of eyes and you know basketball, this will be a top 25 team on Monday. Give me a break.
Bridges steps through on Hauck. Bridges foul. High-level stuff on the 24th of November. And a lead of 4 for the undefeated and 13th ranked Bears. Foul before the break was on Thomas Hauck, his second. Jalen Bridges at the line. He's got a career-high 5 assists tonight, Jalen Bridges. He's also hit 5 threes.
He's very reliable from the foul line, 3 or 78%.
That number just went up.
Yep.
So Scott Drew's team leading by 6. Remember, they have played most of the second half without Walter or Misi, who are both on the bench with 4 fouls. Florida without Micah Handlogged today, their starting center. Clayton a 3. Uh-oh.
Beautiful.
Don't let this guy get high for
Yep.
Baylor.
Bridges was a little worried about the drive and did not chase Walter Clayton off the line. Gators are sticking around like bubble gum.
It's their first 3 of the half. They were 0 for 8, Florida. Here could be another Nunn. Yes! Finally, Jaden Nunn gets on the score sheet after an 0 for 6 start. A season-high 14th Baylor 3.
Here we go.
Clayton again almost had a second. And Dennis will take the air out of the game.
Basically 3.5 guard offense right now because Bridges is so effective on the perimeter. Watch the spacing and the ball screening.
John will use the big. Dennis slithering in. Dennis back shot. No. Dennis gets it back. A season high 18.
Does he not kill you below the rim or what?
Is there a better 6'2" player at the rim in the country?
There's not. Statistically, no.
Pulling. Hard take. Rebound none. Baylor threatening to exert control over this game.
What impresses me about Baylor is their offensive execution in the second half has been exquisite. They don't get bad shots.
Late in the shot clock again. Dennis mid-range. Aberdeen wants it from Condon. 5.5 to play. Samuel and Kugel at the scorers table for Florida to check in next whistle. That's a tough drive by Aberdeen, and Condon goes over the top and draws the 3rd foul on Ojanwuna, and he will shoot 2 with Florida in the double bonus. Some big bucket getters to check back in for Todd Golden in between shots. Alex Condon 10 for 17 at the line this year. Wednesday, 2 featured ACC SEC Challenge games, 2 Sonic blockbusters. Tennessee and North Carolina at 7:15 Eastern. Duke and Arkansas 2 hours after that. Those games on ESPN and streaming live on the ESPN app, part of the inaugural ACC SEC Men's Challenge. Condon 2 for 2, and Samuel will replace him. Clayton takes a seat as well. Defensively, what do you do here for Florida? How do you get stops?
Got to stay in front of those guys. You got to chase them off the 3-point line. If you got to do it, you probably do it better this year than last year. Defensive rebound. That's a foul. Not a good decision, but Misi is not a good foul shooter. So this could turn into an invisible turnover. Ojanwuna, excuse me.
He's also not a good one. He's 5 for 11 on the year, and this is a 1-and-1. That's the 9th Florida foul. The sophomore from Nigeria, Josh Ojanwuna. Look good there.
Yes, it did. Last year, Kevin, he played 16 minutes a game. They weren't sure if Jonathan Chachua would be back in the lineup. Once John came back in February, this guy's minutes were cut to about 8 a game. He's much better this year than he was as a freshman.
Ojanwuna hits both. Back to a 3-possession lead for Baylor. 8-point game, 5 to go. NIT season tip-off championship on the line.
This match inside, if they can find it, and they switch back. Good job by Bridges.
Kugel against Ojanwuna. Step back 3. He drills it off the back of the rim. Timeout, Todd Golden. One of 8 double-figure scores in the game, 4 apiece. Florida has had 4 double-digit scores in every game this year. Kugel leads the way with 18. Dennis leading with 18 for Baylor. Still with Walter and Misi off the floor with 4 fouls and still leading despite that. Bridges is at a huge night. Matched up with a freshman Hout. Bridges spinning. Bridges to the right hand. Bridges scores it. Here's Florida once again pushing after a make. Poland's been so adept at that. This time he comes up short. Just his third miss of the game in 8 tries.
Baylor had numbers in transition, but Scott Drew elected to slow it down, use a little clock, and try to get a great look. Their offensive efficiency in the second half has been excellent.
Dennis matched up with Samuel now.
Mismatch again.
Dennis can cook him. Dennis trying to go to work. Dennis slithers in through the long arms of the law. 20 points for Ray J. Dennis. It's a 9-point Baylor lead. Kugel driving. Kugel unencumbered. He's got 20. Just 4 shy of a career high.
And the tough part for Florida is it's hard to change the rhythm of the game because they've got 4 ball handlers, at least 3 ball handlers out there, and a couple more on the bench in case Baylor gets tired. They're able to control the tempo with their guard play.
Dennis across the way to Bridges, steps in on Howe, tries to shovel it to Ojanwuna. Loose dribble, it's Nunn. 1 to shoot it, and Nunn shot rims into the hands of Kugel. He blocked.
Yes, he did.
That's a traveling. Baylor goes 30 seconds into the shot clock and then gets it right back.
Years and most of the last 17 or 18, a lot of winning, including a national title.
There's Bridges off the inbound, under 3 to play. Baylor's got the ball. Still no Walter with 4 fouls. Still no Misi with 4 fouls, and it has been no problem. Dennis hit, not fouled. It's a takeaway. Only the 3rd turnover of the half, and Kugel spits it home. He's got 22, and the lead is 5.
This is a 2-possession game. Florida's got a lockdown right now. Create a tough shot, and they must defensive rebound.
Kugel's got the last 7 for the Gators. Under 2.5 to go. It's in the hands of Langston Love. D'Antoine Grimes off the bench. Baylor showing off the depth. Dennis charging in the lane. Dennis again. Mr. Automatic.
I told you earlier, nobody better in the country at that size in the paint than Ray J. Dennis. That's his game.
Clayton.
Nice.
Samuel. 16 for Samuel.
Beautiful pick and roll that time, but Ojanwuna got caught with his shorts down. Nice dump off. 2 possessions. A lot of basketball.
Baylor shooting at 51% in the game. Baylor shooting at 54% in the second half. A lot of contact there.
Yeah, they wanted to deny Dennis, and Clayton Jr. couldn't. So now Dennis is in his wheelhouse. Watch him post.
Dennis, fade away. Yes, sir! It's Ray J's day. 24 points for Dennis. And Baylor's lead is stretched to 7 once more.
And tonight it's Ray J. Dennis.
Player, you think maybe the National Freshman of the Year, when it's all said and done, has not played since the 10-15 mark. Poland will muscle his way to the free throw line. We haven't seen Misi since the 12:33 mark. And Baylor with Grimes and Love and Ojanwuna and this slew of bench players has kept Florida at arm's length, and they've done it on the back of Ray J. Dennis and one of the great games of his 135-game college career.
I want to tell you, this Florida team, we said it at the beginning, I felt they were a top 25 team coming into tonight. I am not surprised. I cannot wait to follow this team all season long in the SEC.
That's Todd Golden's 3rd timeout.
Let's see if they do this.
Dennis, he'll get close to the baseline, back to the inbounder, Nunn.
Oh boy.
Nunn is in all kinds of trouble here. He gets rid of it to Love, and Love just barely made it across. That was almost a 10-second violation.
I love the pressure by Florida. Now they got to get a stop.
Under a minute to go.
Who do you think's going to have it, Kevin?
Everybody in the building knows who's going to have it. He crosses Clayton. Dennis floats it for Ojanwuna. Surprise, surprise. And Ojanwuna is fouled. Everybody in the building was wrong.
No, no, no. He had the ball. He was going to make the play, and pretty good.
It's So Richard, the foul's not a bad foul. O'Jon was a 66% free throw shooter last year, just 7 for 13 this year though. Got to make both to keep it a 2-possession game, and he will not.
Yep. Now, what you're going to see right now, as long as Florida gets the rebound, they're going to play quick and they're going to be on the attack.
O'Jon with a second is good. It's a 2-possession game with threes.
Comeback offense right here. Watch how quick they get it up.
Pulling. Clayton a 3. That was quick. That's an air ball. Rebound Richard. He left it short. Have to foul now, and Florida will. Kugel holds Love with 39.4 to go. Langston Love, a strong free throw shooter, will go to the line to make it a 3-possession game.
That was great offense by Florida. Todd Golden had a set play. We call it a hammer action. Came up the right side, screened the backside for the shooter. And that's all you can do as a coach is put your guys in position to make a good shot.
Love 15 for 17 at the line this year.
If you're Scott Drew, he just needs one to make it 3 possessions. Again, Florida's coming up to court with something tricky to get a quick 3.
Love hits the second. It is a 3-possession lead. It's a must score now for Florida. Pulling. Left it short. Out to Clayton. Got to get up a shot quickly. Clayton driving and fouled at 27.5. O'Jon when it picks up his 4th. With as analytically based as Todd Golden is, you wondered if Florida would go for a 3 there. They drive it to the rim, and they will stop the clock for 2 free throws at 27.5. Wow. Clayton, a 95% free throw shooter last year, was 102 out of 107.
But he's already missed more free throws this season.
He's missed 7. He missed 5 all last year.
It's crazy.
Clayton splits the pair. Denzel Aberdeen will replace him.
Now, you're going to keep that pressure on. The last time it was pretty good. You got to trap without fouling. I would not necessarily foul in the backcourt if we could get a healthy trap. Let's watch.
Love. There's the trap. None. And may have to foul now.
Yes. There you go.
18.7. Took about 9 seconds off the clock, and Bridges can all but seal the game at the line. Late game execution for Baylor. We've seen it year in and year out. It's almost always very good, and it's been very good today.
Well, and I'll tell you, Scott Drew, from the day he got to Baylor to now, he's gotten better and better and better as a coach. He's had a great staff. Grant McCaslin, Matt Driscoll, Jerome Tang, Paul Mills. He's got another great staff there with Alvin Brooks and John Jacobs, Jared Nunez. I said this guy many times to you, Kevin, when we've been together the last few days. He's going to the Hall of Fame at some point in his career. The Naismith Hall of Fame.
Not many more deserving and are not in the Hall of Fame, and Scott Drew. Kugel to step back. Todd Golden's got a timeout left. He'll use it. 5-point game.
All 5 players are out of bounds. Anybody can catch a pass here, even out of bounds. Let's see if they can do it.
Jay Nunn goes 4 wide, throws it to Love, and there's a foul on Aberdeen. Florida thought about arguing it harder, but clearly a wraparound against Aberdeen. And it will send Langston Love to the line for 2.
Kevin, if you see that alignment later in the year, just keep in mind, you can only put 5 out of bounds when you can run the baseline after a basket. Baylor's done that for a while.
So 2 free throws here, and this game would be all but done and dusted. And there's 1. How about the game for Love? 15 points off the bench. Double figures for the first 6 coming off the Baylor bench.
Well, I haven't said it this year. I'll probably say it in Big 12 play. They do have like 8 starters, don't they?
Yep.
The 3 big guys at center, Love coming off the bench.
John Wachachu gave big minutes tonight.
Did. Yeah, he was like Udonis Haslem. Miami Heat.
Richard. Here's Samuel. Tyrese Samuel scores it. Florida does not have a timeout. 4.4 to go.
Still want to try to force a 5 count, a quick steal.
Richard's all over Dennis, and Bridges is bumped and fouled at 3.7. So the Baylor Bears are going to add another piece of hardware to a collection that seems to grow by the year for Scott Drew. They took Florida's best shot much as they did take Auburn's best shot, the season opener in Sioux Falls. So this is going to be 2 wins over SEC competition in the first couple of weeks.
Well, those 2 teams will be in the NCAA tournament. Auburn, I mentioned Auburn. I don't think they'll lose until, they may not lose at Arkansas on January 6th, but that'll be the first SEC game. I think Auburn will be 12-1 going into conference play. And this Florida team's pretty darn good too.
2 free throws good for Bridges. The lead is 7. Denzel Aberdeen for 3. That will count before the horn. 95-91 is the final score. The Baylor Bears put the Big 12 and the rest of the nation on notice